Dr. Mojibur Rahman is Associate Professor, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Dhanbad. He has 16 years of experience in teaching English language skills to the students of science and technology. He has obtained MA in English language teaching and PhD in language testing from Aligarh Muslim University. His areas of interest include English for specific purposes, English for science and technology, English language teaching, language testing, translation studies, language studies, and communication skills development. He has edited 2 books and published 45 research papers in several national and international journals and contributed chapters to various books of language and literature practices. He has also published book reviews in various international journals. So he is an ELT expert from my own specialization. So we belong to all with the ELT expertise. And today is the, I have been conducting sessions on throughout on communication and English language teaching. So I hope this particular session will be on speaking skills, and most the participants will be really helping about and knowing about how they can really benefit from this, enhance their speaking abilities. Thank you, sir. The session is yours. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you to the organizers to invite me for this talk. I think you all are teachers like me. Yes. Yes, we all are teachers. So we will discuss here. We will not, this is not a lecture kind of thing. Just I'll introduce oral presentation skills, and with that I will be explaining some of the things related to that of the this seminar presentation, right? And sorry for my voice, because I was ill for a few days, and now my voice is not clear. So sorry for that. So
it's quite clear, sir. It's actually quite clear.
Clear.
It's clear, sir. Okay, sir. No problem.
Okay, so I'll be talking about oral presentation skills, and I'll talk in detail some of the basic things in oral presentation, right? So I think you all have experience in presentation. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, because
Yes,
you are
yes,
teaching in the class. So classroom is also a kind of presentation. We present in classroom. So we all have experiences in presentation.
Yes, sir.
Let me share. Okay, the slide is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's visible, very much visible.
Okay. So I'll be talking about oral presentation skills. What is oral presentation skills, and what are the basic things in oral presentation skills? So as we know, the nature of presentation is oral communication. Yes. So we communicate through orally, not in the written form. We present in the writing also, that is called a report, right? But here we present orally, and this is a two-way communication, not a one-way communication. Yes, presentation is basically a two-way communication. It is not like debate or speech. It is a kind of discussion. We discuss certain things in seminars or conferences or in meetings or any other form, like in say in business world also we present things. So our presentation should be goal oriented. That means objective oriented. it should not be without any goal. We have to achieve a goal. That means we have to achieve our objective. If the objective is to persuade the person, then we have to persuade the person or the audience, right? This is presentation is basically a flexible kind of thing, but it is complex, right? At the same time, it is complex. It is flexible. That means we have to change then and there when it requires. While presenting, we have to change in our presentation. Now, oral presentation is basically purposeful. That means you have to make the presentation with a definite purpose. Then interactive. That means we have to interact with the audience. That means there is two-way communication here. Then oral presentation is basically a formal kind of thing. So situation is basically formal. Audience oriented, that means we have to focus on the listener's perspective, not only our own perspective. There are several forms of presentation such as seminars, workshops, symposia, student presentation, industry conferences, product launch, press conferences, team presentation, annual general meeting, departmental presentation, and company profile presentation. Whatever may be the presentation, they all seek to achieve the certain objective. And these objectives may range from exploring a new area of information to introduce a new product by a company. Oral presentations differ from other forms of oral communication, that like speech and other forms of oral communication, right? So apart from the communication skills, we are communicating, we are interacting basically. We are discussing with the audience. We are not simply lecturing to the audience, but we are creating a kind of discussion. Yes. So whatever the topic is, we have to generate interest in that topic, and we have to discuss it. Then importance of presentation skills. What are the importance? You may not be a professional speaker, but you need to present. So whether you are a student or a professional or academician or business executive, we have to make oral presentation in front of your colleagues or professional peers. As a professional student, you may be required to make presentation in the progress of reports, student seminar, research presentation. As a professional in different fields, include scientists, engineers have also make oral presentation. Similarly, business executives may have to introduce a new product and their company has launched to present new sales. Then good presentation can do wonders if you present good in a good way, then you may get job. Say in an interview, you must have presented certain things. That means yourself. You have to sell yourself in interview. So when you present in a good way, then you will be able to basically get the job. On the other hand, a poor presentation of ideas not only reduces your professional image, it may result in major business or personal loss. Therefore, you should be able to give an effective presentation. Effective presentation is the keyword here. That means if we say good, that means effective. And you should know how to present your ideas in a persuasive way, how to make your audience interested in your presentation, and how to use appropriate visual during your presentation, and how to reflect confidence while speaking. You should have the ability to begin your presentation in an effective way, develop your ideas logically, and conclude your presentation with something memorable. And here you have to remember these 4 things: plan, prepare, practice, and perform. Without planning and preparing, we do not present. Basically, we do not present extempore, right? We prepare it and then we present it. Whether in seminars or conferences, we prepare the paper and then we present. Then at the planning stage, what we have to do? First of all, we have to know our audience. Then we have to stimulate the interest of the audience. Then be sensitive to the needs and expectations of the audience. Then strike up interaction with our immediate audience in as many ways as possible. Then we have to know our purpose of presentation. And then analysis of occasion is also necessary. Then we have to plan our material and we have to dispose it in the time given. Then we have to select the topic of our presentation. So one by one, we will see what are these things and how we will plan. So defining the purpose. What is the purpose of presentation? Here I have listed 3 purposes, and basically for these 3 purposes we present. To inform, that means to share information. Then to persuade, that means to change the behavior or attitude or belief or values of the listener. And to demonstrate, that means we have to help the listener to know how to do something. Yes. So these are the 3 purposes for which we present basically all the times. And we can mix these 3 purposes, 2 purpose together or 3 together, and or we can simply choose one purpose to present. Then identifying a specific purpose of presentation involves identifying an observable, measurable action that audience should be able to take and use one idea that matches audience needs. That means what the audience expect, you have to match that need. And it should focus on the audience behavior and restate the speech topic. Now, you can see these 3 examples. At the end of my presentation, the audience will be able to describe 3 advantages of using HP Precision Scan LT software. That means this is basically information kind of thing. Then at the end of my presentation, the audience will be able to believe that the HP Precision Scan LT is the best scanning software. That means it is a persuasion. Then at the end of my presentation, the audience will be able to use HP Precision Scan LT software. That means it is kind of demonstration. So we have to demonstrate how to use that software. Then analyzing the audience. How to analyze the audience? We have to analyze on these 3 basis: the audience characteristics, then audience needs and expectations, then factors for getting and maintaining audience attention. When we say identifying audience characteristics, we have to consider audience age, gender, social, economic and educational background, religious background, political affiliations, professional attitudes, likes and dislikes, beliefs, true and false, and values, good and bad. Now tell me, what are the purposes of identifying these things? That why to know the age of the audience, why to know the gender of the audience, why to know the social status or economic status of the audience, why to know the educational status of the audience, and why to know the religious and political beliefs of the audience. Yes, any idea?
So can I give a try?
Yes.
Sir, if you know the background of our listeners, and we would be able to plan our presentation in that manner that it would be feasible for them and it would be worth it listening to us.
Yes. So suppose if I say that you have to know the religious background, the political background of the audience. So what is the need of knowing the religious and political background of the audience?
So that we don't bring in any kind of controversial statements in between.
That is right. Yes. So we should be neutral in all the things. See, in religious matter or political matter or the beliefs or values of the audience, we have to be neutral in that way, right? And if we know the gender of the audience, then we will use gender sensitive words also, right? And we should not use any kind of expression or words which hurts the audience sentiments, right? So knowing the audience, and if we know the educational background of the audience, then it will be easy for us to plan our material. That means if you are presenting to the audience who do not know anything about that topic, then we have to start with a layman, and we have to explain everything. But if you are presenting with an expert, then you have to use those technical words, and the audience can understand those technical words. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Quite clear.
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Then we have to analyze the audience needs and expectation. Then we have to ask these questions, that why will they listen to me? Yes. Then who asked them to be there? If they are a forced listener, or they have come to listen you on their own. Is their attendance compulsory? Yes. Like you are attending this MDP program, so attendance must be compulsory. I think so.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what are their interests? You have to know the interest of the audience also. Then what ideas or experience do I have that audience may like to hear? Yes, you have to know your expertise, and you have to match the interest of the audience also. What are their needs? Why they are listening you? What is the need? Yes, whether they want to improve their knowledge, or just they are a forced listener, they have asked to sit and listen you. What do they expect? Expectation is also at the end of your presentation. What is their expectation? Then how does my objectives meet audience needs? So analyzing these things is basically necessary, because you have to plan your presentation in that way. Otherwise, if you are not meeting the needs and expectation of the audience, then your presentation will be worthless. Then you have to answer these questions. Now, recognize factors for getting and maintaining audience attention. You have to recognize those factors. Once the characteristics, needs, and expectation of the audience have been identified, you can determine the factors that meets the needs of your listener. Your listener will be more interested in your presentation if you meet their requirement. As a result, they will listen to you attentively, understand you say, and remember the key points of your presentation. If you are not meeting the expectation and needs, then they will not listen. Consider the following a specific question. How can I relate my presentation to the needs and expectations of my audience? What should I do to ensure that my audience remembers my main points? What style will appeal to my audience? What are the changes that I should make? And how I incorporated ways of encouraging my listeners to give feedback and share information that will make my presentation more effective. Have I planned strategies for dealing with listeners' communication apprehension? How will I handle hostile listeners or those who are disruptive? Yes. In presentation, you have to face these kinds of listeners also, hostile listeners or listeners who are disruptive. They can disrupt in your presentation. Then analyzing the occasion, the context where you are presenting. Here are some relevant questions you have to ask yourself. Is my presentation a part of larger event like a national, international seminar with a central theme, or just an internal conference where I am supposed to present my views on a particular topic? Am I familiar with the procedures of the event? Who are the sponsors? Then who are the other speakers? What is the venue? What is the duration of my presentation? Now, just this question, who are the sponsor? What is the significance of knowing the sponsors? Yes. Any idea?
How far that organization is authentic?
Right. Anything else?
So when you know the sponsor, you know that what is expected from you also as a presenter, because they have some specific targets to be achieved. That is why they are sponsoring you. So it's better to understand the sponsors and the audience.
Yes, you have to see, basically when we talk about the sponsors, we talk about the theme also. So sponsors are directly related with the theme. Yes, so you have to stick to the central theme in your presentation. You should not digress from the main or central idea of the entire event. Right, so that we have to know these things. So analysis of the occasion is one of the planning you have to do. Then choosing a suitable title. Suitable title, that means it should reflect the central idea. It should not be a vague or misleading title. And your title should reflect what you are going to present. Then here I have given example that vehicular pollution hazards in New Delhi. It is a local focus topic. Then pollution of the Ganges. We can say that it is a national focus topic. Then CFSs and ozone depletion. It is international focus topic. So you have to stick to the central idea. of that particular event. You can build your ideas around that, but you have to stick to that central idea. Then preparing a stage, you have to prepare your presentation. Being prepared helps you deal with speech anxiety effectively. See, when we stand before an audience to speak, we have anxiety in our mind, and we are afraid also. Sometimes we have stage fright, and this is good. I cannot say that this is bad. This is good, because in that way you can prepare yourself in a better way. Then develop the needed confidence, seek precise, relevant examples and illustrations, check for accuracy, redundancies, and cliches. Preparing for your presentation involves developing your central idea, main ideas, gathering relevant supporting materials, planning your visual aids, choosing an appropriate delivery technique, and making speech notes. Develop your central idea. Central idea that it has the following characteristics. It restates the presentation topic that and it is a simple audience-oriented idea. It is a one sentence summary of your presentation. One can say that if your idea should be summarized in one sentence. It focuses on the content of the speech. It uses a specific language. Yes, whenever we choose our idea, we have to choose the language accordingly. Then develop the main ideas. Now here I have given one example. If the central idea is unemployment in India, then logical division will be, the main ideas will be types of unemployment, causes of unemployment, then solutions of unemployment, right? And accordingly, we can plan our other materials also, that visual aids or the charts, diagram, whatever we want to show. Then if the central idea is education in India needs to be restructured, then main ideas we can say reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Yes, we can ask question the why education in India needs to be restructured. So we have to give reason 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever reasons we have, we can give. Then supporting central idea with a series of steps, we can say that Indo-Pak relations can be improved. We can give strategies, different strategies, strategy 1, strategy 2, strategy 3. Like this, we can develop central idea and main ideas. Then gathering supporting materials. Supporting materials, that means information related to that particular central idea and main ideas. We have to give examples from real life situation, and we have to support with certain statistical data, or whatever means we can say. We have say internet, we have library resources, we have personal interviews, we have discussion with experts, then colleagues, and especially interest groups. So we can gather materials like this through internet. Nowadays it is easy. Through library resources also, or through personal interviews or discussion with the experts, we can gather material, supporting materials. Then make a list of material you want to include in your presentation. The supporting material that you gather may include facts, examples, definitions, quotations. Then you have to develop outline of your material. Before you write the entire presentation, you have to develop an outline. Outline will be helpful. See, when we construct a building, so before constructing that building, we prepare an outline that how many rooms we will construct and what will be the corridors and other things. So in our writing also, we have to make an outline. Without making an outline, we may digress from the central or main ideas. Then
Sir,
after,
sir,
yes.
hello. And sir, each the outline of our material means content of our presentation.
See, according to your topic, when you have developed the central ideas and main ideas, you have to give it a structure. So before writing, you have to make the entire skeleton that with this supporting ideas or the main ideas, we have to put these supporting details. With this main ideas, we have to give these supporting details and examples. So in that way, you have to arrange it first, and then you will start writing. After writing, you have to read it and revise it. Yes.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Then we accordingly we have to plan our visual aids also. Yes, we have to show certain things for our presentation. So what is the purpose of giving these visual aids? Any idea? Yes, why
Sir,
we
sir,
use
it can attract listener attention.
That is one of the purpose of giving visual aids, that we that support the listeners to get better understanding. Yes. And for the presenter side, you can explain in a better way with the visual aids.
It would bring about interest also.
Yes, that's right. It will
generate interest.
Genuine interest. It will create in the audience so that they can listen you in a better way. Clear?
Better focus and clarity.
Yes, pardon me.
Better focus and clarity about the
clarity. Clarity. You can give clarity through visual aids also. What you cannot explain in words, you can show it visually, right? So before going for presentation, you have to prepare your visual ad, and you have to plan and prepare it. Otherwise, and you have to arrange it in a systematic way so that you can show all those things. Right. Nowadays, we are using this computer, PowerPoint, to show these things. But sometimes we give it in the form of handouts, or we can present it through poster also. Then here are these visual aids, maybe objects, models, people, or two-dimensional drawing, photograph, slides, maps, graphs, charts. These are the basic visual aids. We can, in presentation, we can use blackboard and chalk also. Then the following suggestion will help you plan and use visual aids effectively. Choose relevant visual aids. Your visual aid should go along with your message. Using a visual that does not match with what you are saying is distracting and may confuse the audience. Make yourself familiar with your visual aids and rehearse your presentation with your actual visual aids. You may use computer software programs such as PowerPoint oral presentation to enhance the effectiveness of presentation. You may distribute handouts, charts, presentation abstracts, summaries, brochures, pamphlets, outlines. While using overhead transparencies, nowadays we are not using transparencies because it is too much of costly and impossible to handle nowadays. Introduce your visual aids before you actually show them. Then organizing your presentation. After you have developed your central idea as well as main ideas, gathered relevant supporting materials and have planned appropriate visual aids, you have to organize and structure your message. Good organization is essential for effective presentation. So you have to focus on these 3 T's. Tell your audience what you want to tell. That means before you start, you have to tell the audience what you want to tell, and then tell it and tell them what you have told. That means at the end. So divide your presentation into 3 distinct parts. That means introduction, body, and then conclusion. There should be a clear-cut division of introduction, body, and conclusion. Then introduction. The opening of your presentation should convince your audience to listen to you. It has 5 functions. Get the audience attention, introduce the subject, give the audience a reason to listen, establish your credibility, sorry, preview your main ideas. What you are going to talk, you have to preview at the initial stage so that the audience should know what you are going to talk next. Then get the audience attention. How to get the audience attention? These are the things we do in presentation. The startling statement or a statistics. Say something surprising or unexpected, or give statistics which surprises. Then anecdotes. We can start with anecdotes. Tell a short entertaining account of an event or short story. Then you can directly ask questions to the audience. Then you can start your presentation with quotations. Then you can start your presentation with humorous references. Then you have to introduce the subject. After you got the audience attention, they are attentive now, you have to introduce the topic. Tell the audience what you are going to talk about. Include a statement of your central idea in the introduction. Use simple and direct language. The language should be simple. Give the audience a reason to listen. Why the audience will be listening. Involve the audience with the topic of your presentation. Show the audience how the topic affects them directly. And motivate the audience by giving relevant statistics. Then establish your credibility. That means whether you are expert in that area or not, you have to prove it. Establish your credibility. Convince the audience that you are worth listening. Be well prepared and appear confident. Tell the audience of your personal experience with the topic. Yes, that is also one of the ways. Preview your main ideas. What you are going to put in the body part, you have to tell the initial stage. Then the body part, the body contains the main content of your presentation. Most of the people fail to make effective presentation simply because they try to convey so much information and include so many things. So in the body part, what you have to do, you have to make it simple, short, not too much lengthy. And you have to, because when we present, we are assigned time. Let's say 10 minutes, in 15 minutes, we have to conclude. So in that 10 minutes, you have to do everything. That means you have to get the audience attention. You have to introduce yourself. Then you have to present your ideas, and then you have to handle the question also. So each main point should be supported by appropriate details that will each main point should support by appropriate details, but do not give excess data. That means giving excess data is also irrelevant. So the mantra is to use few main points with the relevant supporting details. That if you are dealing with the central idea, then 2 to 3 main ideas, main points you have to give, and then you have to deal with those main ideas also only, and you have to conclude your presentation. Concentrate on each main point and use appropriate transition to indicate the change of point of your audience, right? Ensure that your information is accurate, complete, and relevant. Should not be irrelevant information. Then you structure the body of presentation. You should decide the sequence you will follow from any of the following organizational pattern. Now, see, in writing, we use a certain kind of organizational pattern. And these organizational patterns are used in different kinds of writing. So sequential organizational pattern, when we are dealing with the process, we use sequential organizational pattern. Then we have general to a specific and a specific to general pattern. That means if you are describing certain things, suppose if you are describing a pen, so you have to describe it either from general to a specific point, or from a specific to general. That means first of all, you have to talk about the structure of this, or usefulness of this object, and then you have to go to the specific details of this object. Then more important to less important, you have to decide what is more important and what is less important. Then less important to more important. Then categorical organization method. When we are dividing certain things in different categories, then we use this categorical method. Then problem and solution method, organization method. That means when we are explaining certain things, then first of all we highlight the problem, and then we the solution also. Then contrast and comparison method. When do we make contrast and comparison method? Any idea? I'm getting so many.
Sometimes, sir, when we have to explain some figures and try to give them the message that this is better or this have a more effective or important. So in that case, we can use a contrast or comparison things.
That's right.
Or the graphical.
Sometimes we make comparison to known and unknown. So through comparison or the contrastive analysis, what we do, we make the audience informed.
Excuse me, sir, somebody turned on his or her audio, so I'm not getting your voice properly, sir.
So one should close that audio part.
Babita, her mic is on. Babita.
Yes.
Because we are getting
Babita ma'am,
so
can you
many
please
voices.
switch off your mic?
Vehicle voices.
Please switch off your mics.
Okay, now that conclusion part, the conclusion of your presentation should follow the four specific objectives. You have to summarize the entire presentation, they re-emphasize the central idea, then focus on the goal and motivate the audience to respond. Then at the end of the question answer session, you have to provide the closure also. Now we will be talking about, say, rehearsal part. After you prepare your presentation, you have to rehearse once with a live audience if you are not confident enough. If you are confident enough, then not needed, but I'll suggest that before going for actual presentation, you have to make it yourself prepare for the actual presentation. Sometimes we plan our rehearsal also, and we make rehearse before our colleagues, live audience. And while rehearsing, you have to pay attention on the time limit. Because in seminars and conferences we see, they provide time limit. But sometimes what happens, we exceed time limits, and sometimes what happens, we finish before the given time. Recreate the presentation environment when you are rehearsing. Then delivery method, we will talk about this. Once you have planned your presentation, prepare for it, organize it and rehearse it properly, you are ready to deliver it. What you say is important in presentation, but how you say is more important. It is essential to improve your delivery in order to give effective presentation. Improve your delivery method. We have generally three methods. Number one is memorizing method. Number two is reading method, and number three is outlining method. Now you have to choose which method you want to apply. Yes, generally when you present, what method you apply? Any response?
Introducing it.
Yes.
Introducing in a different way, like just giving them an example, allowing the audience to do something. Like when I made a presentation on experiential learning, I just first told them to draw a scenery.
Okay.
And then I proceeded further.
No, see, whatever presentation you have written, see, in seminar or conferences, we present papers. So you have written that paper. Now you have to present that paper. So what do? You memorize that paper entirely, or you read it?
Memorizing method.
Memorizing
and reading both.
Memorizing and reading both. See,
so making some specific points, bullet points, which are important.
That is important.
And accordingly, we can able to present.
See, if you are memorizing anything, if you forget in anxiety, so what will happen? That will
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
We normally outline. No, we make bullet points, and
Yes.
we make our presentation, so we know what to say. So we make bullet points, we outline. So I feel that outlining method is more appropriate, or
outlining method is the best method. Yes, because if you are reading, then sometimes what happens that our voice becomes monotonous, and we lose the audience attention. When we make an outline of the entire presentation and we keep it with us in a piece of paper, then we can deliver in a better way, right?
Yes, sir.
Because you have to make an eye contact with the audience. You should not give a time and a space to the audience to digress from your topic, right? They should not go beyond that. Or if you are sitting in the classroom or in the room, their mind should not go outside the room. Now, here you can see some of the advantages and disadvantages of this memorizing method. Some people prefer memorizing. They memorize the entire presentation and then present it from their memory. You may use this method if you have a stage fear and are very nervous about giving your presentation. But what I have said, that there is a threat. If you forget, then that will be the end of your presentation. Then reading method, it will like reading from the text, your voice will be monotonous, and you may lose the attention of the audience. Outlining method is the best method, because here you have flexibility to change then and there if you want. Then handling stage fright. Do you have any kind of stage fright? Yes.
Yes, sir.
No.
Some of you may have, some of you may not have, because see, in classroom practice and the other kind of audience, we have certain kind of experience, so we do not have stage fright, but some people may have a stage fright. So if you are nervous before in your audience, if your answer is no, then probably you have never faced an audience or never give a presentation.
So
Always
with experience, the fright grows, na?
Yes, we
With
always
experience,
have a stage fright. Yes, before going to the audience, we feel certain kinds of anxiety in our mind. What kind of audience is, and how I will be handling the audience. Right, this anxiety is always in our mind, and if your answer is no, then I think you do not have faced any audience. Yes. When we have a stage fright, we prepare in a better way. We do not have heartbeat beats. Our breath is not rapidly going out and coming. Then we may not have anxious if we prepare well. And certain kind of stage fright is normal, and that should be there, so that we can deliver in a better way. Then there are certain kinds of advices here you have to focus on. As discussed earlier, you should plan your presentation well, prepare thoroughly, and practice repeatedly. Knowing your purpose, audience, occasion helps to reduce speech anxiety. Effective preparation makes you familiar with your message and thus reduces stage fear. Then knowing your introduction, body, and conclusion well in advance gives you the confidence to control your speech anxiety. And finally, we practice and then deliver it. Now, you have to focus on certain things. Setting realistic goals. When we are setting our objectives, it should be realistic. It should be achievable. It should not go beyond our control. If your goals are unrealistic and beyond your capabilities, you will be much more nervous than you should be. In fact, the normal stress of the speaking situation is heightened by unrealistic ambitions. Be practical and identify your shortcomings. If you are not a very effective oral communicator, you may set humble goals. Moreover, you may set yourself up, feel nervous by putting undue emphasis on presentation. Consider the fact that your presentation is not the end of the life. You are going to present more and more. Then avoid negative thoughts. These are the things that avoid thoughts such as I am going to fail, I can't speak, my topic is boring, I didn't prepare well, I'm not ready, my audience didn't like me, I'm not fluent. You should not, these thoughts should not come in your mind. Feel confident about your planning and preparation and have faith in yourself. Begin your presentation with a pause. That means if you stand before the audience, give it a pause and then start. First, you see the audience and make eye contact with the audience, familiarize with the audience, and then you should start. Calm yourself. Speak slowly, not in the fast speech, or hastily you should not speak. You speak slowly and confidently. Sometimes we need this stress reduction techniques also. So mental relaxation we need, but some people need these things, and most of the time we are confident enough to present without these kinds of stress management. Then checklist before the actual presentation. Start with confidence, be organized, stay relaxed, tone up your body language, use appropriate visual aids, pay attention to all details, close in a memorable way. Okay, before I finish, I want to talk about this thing, body language. What do you know about the body language? Yes, any idea?
So body language is normally
See, body language is our facial expressions, eye contact, our posture, gesture. These are the things we include in body language. Yes.
Sir, when I speak, no, I have a tendency to shake my hands too much. How to control this?
Sometimes, when we are not getting idea in our mind, then we shake our hand too much, right? To give a time to the mind to collect those ideas.
Oh.
Right? So you have to practice in that way. So you have to use your hand less. See, sometimes we use our hand to explain certain things, right? That is permissible, but too much of use of hand movement is not permissible.
Okay.
That means you are not confident enough to explain your ideas.
Okay.
Right? So for reducing that hand movement, you have to prepare well. So preparation stage, you have to give more time. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Any other idea?
So sometimes it happens so that, like I'm showing something on the board, but what happens, till then I make use of my hands to show it. Say it's like that, like this. Why is that thing also comes? I'm not able to, I'm trying to control it, but it doesn't come, sir.
No, it is see, natural that whatever things we want to say, we want to make it or figure it out through our hand. Right? So we could not explain in words, so we use our hand to explain those ideas. Figure it out, or simply if we can make that figure on the board, so your hand movement will be controlled.
Okay, thank
right? You. Okay. But what about the face? Yes, because our face says many things. Through our faces, we can explain many things. Any idea?
Wrinkles in the forehead, confused state.
Confused state. Yes. You are not confident, your face will show. Yes. If you are in tension, then your face will show that tension. Right? So sometimes what have to do, we have to control our facial expression. Yes, even if you are anxious, you should not show through your faces. Yes, and eye contact, making eye contact with the audience is always necessary.
Yeah, very necessary.
If you lose the eye contact with the audience, then you will lose the control over the audience. Right? If you want to make the audience listen you, then you have to see in the eyes of the audience.
So does it show lack of confidence if you don't have eye contact?
Sometimes it shows. Sometimes we see here and there and we speak. Yes, that shows too many things. It shows that you are not confident. It shows that you are not interested. Yes. So eye contact is necessary, and how you stand in before the audience is also a posture. Your posture and your standing position is also necessary. So you have to stand in a normal way. Yes.
Can I add something, sir?
Yes, sir.
So the body language differs with the topic also, sir. What you are going, what you're speaking, the presentation. If it is a very entertaining topic where you have to have a laugh and smile, that type of body language should be there.
So when you are dealing with a humorous topic, then there is no need to control over your bodily expressions. Yes,
yes, sir.
It will be a natural laughter.
So topics are also very important when you are.
Topics are also very important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. So your expressions, your body language should match with the topic also.
Right. So one thing I want to ask, when somebody gives a talk or a lecture, what's the standard time? Somebody has a tendency to give for 1.5 hours talk and all. Is it really no possible listening quotient? Is any standard time 45 minutes or 1 hour or half an hour? Which is any ideal time to give a talk?
No. See, you cannot stand and talk 40 minutes or 50 minutes or 1 hour at one place.
Yeah, politicians, they do it, no?
So you have to shift your position also. You have to move here and there.
Politicians are different. We are talking about teachers here.
Parliament, some people talk for 1 hour continuously. I don't know what they will talk. My God.
Because there are so many things to speak.
Politicians are giving speeches. They are not presenting themselves.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they discuss anything. No. They deliver. And delivery means standing in one position and talking 1 hour, 2 hours. But if you are interacting with the audience, then you have to be natural.
Okay.
Yes, it should not look like unnatural thing. Okay, one more thing I would like to highlight here. When we are presenting, I have seen so many presentations in conferences and seminars. People stand before the podium and read the paper from beginning to the end. Yes. Is this a correct delivery method?
No, sir. Can't be.
Sir.
No, sir. Can't be.
Yes, whatever your main central idea and main points are, you have to deliver that only. Yes, and you have to discuss with the audience. See, the purpose of conferences and seminars are basically for discussion. We get together and we discuss on certain things, right? So we focus on
many times what happens that during interactive session, the speaker just gets diverted because of the audience involvement. So how can we avoid such situation?
No, you cannot avoid this situation, but you have to handle this situation.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine.
Yes, one cannot avoid, but you have to handle in a way that they should listen you carefully. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the middle of your presentation, you may get questions from the audience, and you may digress from your central idea.
It generally happens during our presentation. That
yes, it happens. So you have to make them that listener, and then and there you have to briefly answer that audience to satisfy his or her ego.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That is also necessary.
So can we move it for the last 10 minutes in such cases that we would satisfy your queries in the last 10 minutes? Because sometimes it happens also, presentation does not get completed because say we have 1 hour time to present, and because of this interference in between, like our presentation doesn't get completed on time.
So in that situation, if you can answer briefly, that's fine. If you cannot, then you ask that listener that will be clarified at the end of the presentation.
Okay.
Yes. And I have not talked about making of PowerPoint, how to make PowerPoint, because it may take more time, and you are
already doing it.
Nowadays I see many of the people now.
You already know, so you can improve yourself. Yes, and we always improve. Whatever slides I have shown, this is not the ideal presentation, or we can say the ideal PowerPoint slides, right? Because it would have taken say 100 more slides, so I have reduced the slides and put it in try to put in one slide so many things. But when we present, our slide, one slide should focus on only one aspect.
Okay.
Right? So one slide should not focus on too many aspects. One slide means only one aspect.
So could you give an example?
So if I talk about the toning of the body language, then I should talk toning of the body language in one slide only.
Okay.
Right? But here I have given so many things.
Yeah. That's what I was confused.
No, to reduce the slide number, I have done intentionally, but
issues, sir. You please just give us a brief about that. No issues.
Yes. Pardon? Yes, Fareen.
Yes, sir.
What you were saying? You were saying something, Fareen.
Sir, brief of the talk. Ma'am was saying that brief of the talk.
Yes. See, simply in PowerPoint slides, we do not use the entire sentence. Generally, we use certain kind of expressions, words, and we explain it through ourselves. Right? And in a way, if you see that your slides are getting more, then you have to reduce it to stick to the time, and you have to stick to the topic also. That's why I've said that for one central idea, you have to make 2 or 3.
1 बजे से क्लास
Yes.
से बात करो, कुछ करो, एंजॉय करो, ये सब छोड़ दो इस समय.
Any problem?
The class.
Actually, sir, somebody's mic is on and he is not talking to you, sir.
Not talking to me. All right. So, if you have any other question, then we can discuss it here.
So, since you, can I ask you one question, sir?
Yeah.
So, since you talked about PPT, there was a confusion. Like, say I write a topic, I just write the name of the topic or a bit of details about it. So just a topic name, say, what is it about? Say I talk about your techniques in teaching biology. So art integration, just that one, or I write a bit of about it also, about the parts also?
No, when you are giving the topic in one slide, you should not talk about the topic in that particular slide. You should talk in the next slide.
Okay, so just the topic I should put in one slide.
In the next, in your presentation, the first slide should be your topic title. Then second slide should be the summary of your presentation, your central idea, your main ideas. Yes, so that the audience will be familiar with your topic, and they will be familiar what you are going to talk next.
Okay.
Right? And then the third slide will be introduction of your presentation.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Any other question? No question at all, I thought. Okay, so for Dr. Fareen.
Yes, sir. It's a very nice session. This is one of my favorite topics, and not only my favorite topic, it is the most essential topic of today's engineering students.
Yes.
We are working in the engineering institution here. Most of the students are too much occupied about speaking abilities, speaking skills, right?
Yes.
So that too, when they are to get placed in the third year or final year of their course, they are extremely thinking on how to develop my speaking ability. See, I need to tell you that communication is a two-way process or multifaceted way process, whatever we say. But again, just think on how we need to communicate. In that aspect, like we need to think, sir, with your permission, let me just give a brief on this topic.
Okay.
Right? So, seminars, lectures, and presentations. We all call it as a notion of a lecture. Previously, we call as a lecture. Nowadays, we call it as presentation, and again we call it as technical presentation. Right? So many synonyms given together. And again, for all these 3 days, you would have noted each and every eminent speaker will be having their own styles. Right? Somewhere we will be occupied to see how far the lecture was really giving an impact to us. because I have to give an example on that part. I'm just giving, we are in presentation, right? So we need to see how far our lectures have contributed, how far it has influenced, how far it has been really making a great sense to us. It is all about our perception, right? So when you communicate, when you understand, when you perceive, sometimes it is all because of our senses that we make, the sensory organs is manipulating us. Okay, sometimes we think that more PowerPoints are needed. Okay, the speaker may think, why did she do PowerPoint? I will speak a lot. When you are really listening to me, I will provide you more information what the PPT will speak to you.
Yes.
It speaks a lot more than the PPT. Okay, so we need to understand where the PPT really needs to be. Okay, when your vocals are not helping only, then you have to give the point of visuals. Okay, being viral language teachers, almost I have covered with the language faculties and psychological faculties, being it is a program on language, communication and psychology. We faculty of arts, we usually prefer lecture method. Yes. Okay, so that is more important even today, but people think on that lectures are not feasible today. They need to go with presentation with multiple senses. That is multimedia going on with the aid of technology likewise. Yeah, of course, it is also giving a good escape for both the speaker, for the listener also. But again, when you are informative savvy, if you feel that you need to gain more information, the lecture method is the first thing that you have to try on. Okay, that's how. Though we think about activities, though we think about other usual things that we go with the slides and video clips, so many things. But again, we can leisurely think on and we can get through that also. And here in the middle of the session, one of the participants were asking a question, whether we have to get along with the topic first. As Ruma de Mem has just revealed, whether the topic needs to be given. Okay. See, first thing you need to understand is the theme is more important. What is the subject? The second point is the broad theme. From the broad theme, we have to think about the specialized topic, what we are focusing on. From the specialized topic, we have to think on the outline, which the SAR was really revealing on. Get into the main picture of what actually you want to contribute through the topic. This is where seminar lies with. So throughout the session, SAR was telling about so many impacts that we have to cover throughout. Right. So that is where. So seminar is a great the platform where our oral skills, where our verbal skills will be really revealed. So we need to think on who is our audience and what may be the impact of our speech to the audience and how the audience will take, because nowadays the customers are more important rather than the seller. Isn't it? So that is how it has been really made in a reversible way, where the teachers, when they are dominating, they give too much of input. Nowadays, when the customer being a student or the audience, whoever may be, what they want to take, that is what they want to receive. As in one of the comments, you would have told that too much of information leads to confusion. Okay. Today, actually, most of the teachers are really thinking on how much I have to provide. Okay, in that way, sometimes what happens is they go for too much of slides or too much of video clips where actually the information was not really provided with. Are you able to get me? Hope you will be getting me.
Sir.
Okay, so that is where when you are going, though it is a boresome way, we think that lecture method is a boresome way, but again, today when while I was researching on communication skills, most of the students told that listening is the most problematic skill for them. They are not able to listen, and I hope I recall the comment saying that how much time can I give for listening? Okay, so the speaker is too much speaking, the listener can too much listen. Can it be possible? Okay, there are too many things that we have to count on, but we have to think in that particular time, in that particular aspect, in particular mood and environment, how far we have to get. Being it is a 1 week program and we are talking about 3 major subjects, language, and then about communication, and then about positive psychology. Got it? So all the 3 things merged together. It is a multidisciplinary FDP. This is one where I have to focus on too many things. Thank you, sir, so much for that. You have incorporated all the 3 major facts. You have started from communication. You have been going through the technical seminar aspects, everything you have been covering on. And again, you were telling about the psychology, about the mood, about the emotions, about non-verbal communication. Almost you have been covering what we have been covering for the last 2 days. Because while you're presenting, you have to present with your non-verbal communication. Your body language speaks a lot as you stand over there, as you sit over there. However, today we are sitting and communicating, right? For that also, we need to have that much of posture to speak on, right? So too much that we have to think on. So being we are all adults, being we know that how far we have to get from that particular time, from particular expert, we need to think on and redevise our own anticipations. So if we think that visuals are too much important, we have to think on, if I go through the visuals, the information will be cut short. Okay. And if at all, if you think I don't want much of information, I can go through the net, but I just want to listen and see that how the lecture is impactful, then you will be having an escapism. So you have to sacrifice something to get something, right? So something like that happens in seminars, but we have to make up our mind and we have to be clear. If at all, if you speak to the participants, the speaker is able to speak to the participants before in hand, or the audience are able to connect with the speaker before in hand, they will have a mutual understanding how to go through that space. Okay, even as in a classroom also, we have to see how far we have to make through with the students, at what time, because we usually think on that our product needs to be sold. What I want to teach, it needs to be reached. Yeah. Today, teaching has become a business, right? So many anticipations are there. We have to make that. But again, things are getting on. But see that how our perception varies to person, to subject to subject. With this, sir, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your talk is too much inspiring. Though you say, though you openly reveal that I'm not too much occupied with the PPT, but again, I do really understand it is not a factor. What you have communicated throughout the speech, if any participant would have listened actively, okay, they would have got the real picture of the real mapping of oral communication. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for all your valuable time and your space here.
From last 1 year, I'm learning with this new normal through online mode. So
yes, sir.
Everyone,
we are not trained. We are just enduring and preparing ourselves each and every time. Yeah.
I don't like computer, but I'm really now learning
mode, we can interact in a better way, but through online mode,
yes,
see, I cannot see the faces, too many faces.
Yeah, most of the speakers will always ask the participants to switch on their video. As such, they don't know whether they are there in the platform or something like that. Yeah, of course, it happens because they are comfortable when they see the participants.
Yes.
Really, that works on.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So just a minute, let me have a screenshot with all the participants with you. Okay. Yes, sir. Just a minute. Participants, please switch on your camera. Everybody, please. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you all. Let me again join by 2:30. Thank you all.
Same mode, Zoom mode. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
With this, let me end the session. Thank you all.